Now, don't get me wrong, but there are many out there who are asking, should the Olympics be happening in the first place, considering what's gone on around the world in the last 12 to 14 months?
I mean, you can also ask this question to all the 10,000 athletes who've been working day in and day out for the last 4 years trying to prepare for an event and prepare for the Olympic Games, how unfair it would be on them. But as Leander also so beautifully put in his last answer, that these Olympic Games is not just about a sporting competition. They stand for much, much more. They stand for unity and bringing the world together. Nowhere else in the world you have people from 206 nations coming together and living in an Olympic village and fighting peacefully in a good environment for competition. It is unique. The Olympic Games are absolutely unique, and I think the world needs an event such as the Olympic Games more than ever. And I think the power of sport is incredible. Of course, the health and safety of not just the athletes, but everybody concerned, involved in putting these games together has to remain paramount. I know that the IOC has been working tirelessly with experts from across the world who certainly have more knowledge than me on this matter, and they're trying to put every possible effort to mitigate all dangers regarding it and put additional measures day in and day out, have that flexibility in play. It will require flexibility from everybody. It is not going to be a normal Olympic game. It's going to be even so tough for journalists to cover it because you have to define where you want to go, define what events you want to watch already in advance. Movement from venue to venue is going to be restricted. So these are exceptional times we live in. These will be an exceptional games. But at the end of it, the message that these games, what they will provide is that of the world coming together in peace and harmony and in a spirit of sportsmanship, which I believe is required more than ever.
Okay, fair point. I mean, for all of us who've been to games, sort of just getting to know different people, coming together, celebrating sort of humanity is what sort of, makes the Olympics so appealing. But listening to Abhinav, Leander, are you still apprehensive? Because we're obviously going by what we read in the papers or see on television. Biobubbles aren't exactly impervious to Covid-19. And for all the precautions they're undertaking, it just takes sort of one slip up for the virus to strike. And as Abhinav mentioned, that village is one big place with a lot of athletes, a lot of coaches, a lot of support staff.
That's right, Diggy. I mean, when you look at the ATP Tour, on the tennis tour, or you look at the Grand Slams, as frequent as the testing is every day, as frequent as the measures that are taken to keep the athletes within the bubble, there will be a breach. In that, when you look at the COVID-19 virus, it's such a dangerous virus because you don't know who has it. It's invisible. You don't know whether it's a coach or a trainer or a staff at the tournament or anywhere that has it. So when you actually go into a bio bubble, as much as everybody will take responsibility for their best practice to keep that bio bubble safe and secure, there's always a danger that, the virus could be within the bubble already. I think that when you look at an Olympic village of 11,000 athletes, if 100 of those athletes do get COVID, then the danger is, how does it spread? Does it spread in the lunchroom, in the dining room? Does it spread in the buses that you travel in? Does it spread in the dormitories? Does it spread in the buildings that you're living in? Does it spread in the arenas that you play in the locker rooms? So I think there's always a risk here, Diggy. But in that, I have no doubt that the IOC and the Olympic Committee of Japan, and also every Olympic committee for the contingent that goes, is going to have very strict restrictions and very strict behavioral patterns of how the athletes need to conduct ourselves. Do I think that a few athletes will get COVID during the games? Possibly so. None of us know that for sure, but possibly so. It's how we handle that, how we isolate them, how we keep the other athletes safe. But I think it's important to have the Olympic Games. I think it sends a great global message. And as the world has been in a 16-month lockdown, give or take from country to country, I think sport is a great way to send a positive message throughout the world.